So today's Whiteboard Wednesday, we're going to talk about the first step in getting good search results. And we talk about a lot of things on what we can do to a website, how we can build links to it, how important citations are, and just good usability on a website. Those are all great ranking factors, but number one is we want our customers to rank in Google search. So step one is they better be listed in Google search. So step one when we take on a new client is we have an immediate card where we get them verified in Google. And so that's number one. Your business needs to be listed in Google Maps, or Google Local is what they're calling it. And so usually Kelly manages those. But the important part is really making sure, number one, that information is confirmed. Is that the right spelling of their name, the correct phone number we want to list? And one of the biggest factors on how a company is going to show up in search is how you categorize it. So that's probably the most important piece when we're adding a new business to Google, is making sure that category that we select is the most accurate, most prominent category that we want them to rank for. So if it's a mortgage company, we want them to be listed in the mortgage category. They might offer several services, but we want to pick the primary category, make sure that's listed. So just getting them verified in Google, mostly what we want to do when we take on a new client is see, maybe they're already listed in Google. So oftentimes we'll get credentials from our clients and they might send us a Gmail address to get access to their analytics or something like that. And oftentimes that same Google account is already an owner of this listing. So rather than us going through the drill of trying to create a new account or a new listing, trying to verify and get the postcard sent out, we always want to check first to see if we somehow already have access to a verified listing. The other part too is we don't just want to immediately go in and create a new one. We want to try to hopefully locate an existing one and then claim ownership of that listing. It's much easier to manage an existing listing than if we rush too fast and go create a new listing. We now have two, and then we have to go through the works of going through verifying both of them, either merging them or deleting one of them. It's a real headache. So it's real important that we check to see first, are they already in Google Maps, and can we recover that? Can we hop right into the account and make it live today with the new changes, or do we need to issue that postcard? Now the neat part about being a Google partner is that we're a trusted partner. What that means is trusted partners get a nifty little instant verifier app on Android devices. And so we have our tablet over here, and so with our partnership status we can use that instant verifier app, and when we go in and claim a business, there's sometimes it'll show up and say verify in person, and if it doesn't show up we have a little query screen we can add to it, and that little line item shows up, and that's like gold, because when we verify in person it throws a QR code onto the screen. We use our instant verifier app with our Android tablet, we hover over it, and it says, thank you, you're verified. Just like that. No postcard, no phone verification, no run around trying to get credentials. It's instant. So it's really cool being a Google partner and being able to get people listed in Google same day, and you're off and running. The standard way is to basically request the postcard. That postcard has to go to a real legitimate business address. Can't use post office boxes. We can use home addresses, but it's real important that we hide the street address. So we'll say there's options in there when you're adding a Google listing. It says, do you service customers at their location? And that means that you might have, maybe there's some people who have a carpet cleaning company. They don't need an office, they have their van. So their home is where they're going to verify themselves in Google, and they're going to say, I service a 60-mile radius of Redding, California, or something like that. So on the maps, when it shows this little Google map here, it's going to have a pin marker in the middle of Redding, but it's not going to show like a street address. It's not going to have the pin marker right on their home. It's just going to show a pin marker with like a pink circle that says they service this area. That's good if they're listed in Google Maps. It's even better if people truly have a brick and mortar location. So like here at our office, we're a legitimate business. People can come to us to get services. So our pin marker lands right here on our building, And when you click on that little pin marker, it's going to pop up with our company name, our address, our phone number, and any reviews we have. Those will actually rank better than a service area. So if we can, we want to really ask our clients, do you have some sort of location where we can drop this pin marker? And sometimes they go, well, I don't work out of this location, but it's where I store all my carpet cleaning stuff, but it's right in town, and it's in an industrial park or a business park. And I mean, I don't necessarily run my office out of there, but I have an address, I get mail there. So we'd want to run that pin marker right to that location, and that's going to rank a little bit better than a service area. So we always want to start there and kind of ask those questions and see if it's possible. Some people try to, they understand that there's a better benefit of having a brick and mortar location, and they'll kind of say, well, yeah, I have an address, and then we realize it's like a mail biz or a UPS post office box or something, and we can't do that because Google has been privy to that, and they just go right to Street View and they look at it and they go, that's a UPS store, that's not your business. And even if it's like a little warehouse or a garage or something, sometimes they'll do Street View and look down and they'll deny you because they don't see a sign out front. So sometimes they'll push it through if it looks legitimate, but they're onto that. They have the Street View guys running around, and they can look to see if it's really a legitimate brick and mortar location. So we try to get that pin marker on the map with a brick and mortar location, but if it's just not really going to qualify, we should really do like their home address or something like that, and then call it a service area. Once you accomplish that first step and you get it listed in Google Maps, they could very well be on the first page results because that map section is right there on the first page of search results. Usually it's right after the ads, maybe there's a couple organic listings, but that map of local businesses is smack dab right on the top of Google search results, and that's the quickest way to get somebody a first page result, making sure they're verified in Google. So that's definitely step one. That's just a no-brainer. They have to be in Google first before we can even get them to rank higher in Google. So sometimes they might be a brand new business, and yes, they're listed in Google Local, but they're new, and there's other companies who have done well over the years. They're not going to show as the top 3. You'd have to click more and see that they're number 22 on the list. That's where the rest of our optimization strategies come into play, where we're making sure their website looks great, and we're building links to the page, we have good content. Then their website can rank higher, and eventually they'll pop into that local pack. With Google Maps, another ranking factor on how you get to show in Google Maps, a lot of it has to do with the citations. So we are a Yext partner, and we get the top 70 directories knocked out all in one shot. So there's another advantage of being a partner of a big corporation who has relationships with all of those directories, like Google, Bing, Yahoo, Superpages, Hotfrog, YP.com. We put them in our dashboard and click save, and that license, they have approval to overwrite all of those directories. We don't have to go into each one, create a login and password, prove we're really the owner, do a phone verification, or it's really difficult to get those top 70 directories verified manually. So it's really, really great to be a Yext partner. And on top of that, as a Yext partner, we get the duplicate suppression tool, and regular consumers who go straight to Yext and buy the license from them, they don't get that. So you have to come to a Yext partner in order to get that tool. And what that does is, say you go to Superpages and you realize there's 3 listings for the same business. Well, that's bad, because it's like having 3 of the same web pages with duplicate content. Google's looking at that, they're evaluating all those directories and going, well, I'm not sure which one is the real one. It's inconsistent, you have duplicates on there, you need to clean that up. So in order to clean that up, if you did it manually, you'd have to verify all 3 of those locations, then go in and delete the 2 that are bad, leaving the 1. Well, what happens with that, those top 70 directories is some of those are aggregators, and some of them pull information in, and some of them push information back out. So it's almost impossible to go through and manually get all those 70 directories listed and cleaned up and not have any duplicates. Because by the time you go in and verify and you remove the duplicates, this other aggregator has already pushed another listing over in and created it. And you're like, you're just going crazy going, I can't stay on top of this because the way the local ecosystem works, just data is getting pushed around all over the place, and it's virtually impossible to keep on top of it. So as a Yext partner, we have that duplicate suppression tool. Yext will detect, hey, I found 3 of these. Which one is the primary one? And we mark which one we really want to be live. It takes the other 2 and it doesn't delete it. What it does is it puts a 301 redirect on it. So the listing is still active, but if people were to have it bookmarked or if it were to show up somewhere, they'd click it and boom, it would redirect them to the primary one. And then the only downside, so being a Yext partner, we get them in there and it publishes these across the top 70 directories instantly. Well, almost instantly. Some of them take a few weeks, but it's cleaned all that up, right? Well, it's a license you pay to Yext, and when you stop paying Yext, that license gets removed. It's almost like a blanket. The blanket comes back off, and everything slowly reverts back the way it was. So it's not a permanent fix, and even if you tried to do it manually, you could never permanently fix them. With the way that ecosystem works, listings are getting created automatically, and you can never keep on top of it. So we take Google, we do that one manually, just to make sure it is solid and really accurate, and then we push them into Yext, and the top 70 directories are covered. Now you have 70 plus directories that all look perfect with the name, address, phone number, the correct web address, the right hours, business photos, and it looks really good. And the reason why we care about Super Pages and Manta and Hotfrog and Yellow Book and all these directories you've never even heard of is because Google's looking at them. So they're indexing those and evaluating those listings. And if they see inconsistencies with where you're spelling out street, or you're abbreviating it here, or you have a suite number here, or your business name has comma, inc, period on one, and then you don't have the incorporation part of it on another one, they don't like that inconsistency because they're robots evaluating it, and they're not quite sure, is this the same business or not? And so it's really important that name, address, phone number, and all the rest of the hours and all that are consistent across all those top directories. Google evaluates all that, and then they take that score, that consistency, and they will rank you higher in Google Maps. So by cleaning up all those directories, you're actually making an impact in Google. And Google is where people are searching, so that's why we're spending all this time on directories nobody's ever heard of, because it will impact that search rankings and show them higher in Google Maps. The other cool part about Yext is that we get review monitoring, since we have access to those top 70 directories, and we have, with that license, we have approval to override information. It's also not only pushing data out to those directories and suppressing the duplicates, but it's also listening back. So if somebody were to write a review on some random site, it's pretty easy to monitor reviews on Google, Yelp, Facebook, but when you get a nasty review on some yellowbook.com or something you've never even heard of, it's just hanging out there. You don't even know. Somebody else might stumble across it and think twice about doing business with you. So we get instant email alert when somebody writes a review on any of those directories. Then we can go either thank them for the kind comments, or address a negative comment, or even request a review of that comment and see if they can delete it if it was like another company trying to just write negative comments. So we're able to do that with Google as well. So we can submit things in, and they're nice enough to look and go, yeah, I can tell this is from one of their competitors, or this guy has created this account a week ago and has one review and it's yours. So clearly he just wanted to do something nasty, created a Google account, wrote a nasty review, and that's it. So they'll consider that kind of a fake review. And those reviews also are a ranking factor. So of course, it's just like the star rating system. If you have 37 negative reviews, something's not right. And Google's going to look at that and go, I don't want to send people to this business that have horrible customer service. So we want to strive for getting positive reviews. We want to be listening for any reviews, whether they're positive or negative. Make sure we're on top of that. Even if we get a 5-star review and somebody writes a raving positive review, that review is good. It's even better when the company goes in and responds as the business owner and says, hey, thank you, it was so great doing business with you. That review now has way more weight to it because it shows engagement with their customers. So just that getting verified in Google, making sure all your listings are accurate across all the other directories that Google is listening with and evaluating, and responding to reviews, suppressing those duplicates makes a huge impact in that Google local pack in the first page of search results.